Hello, this is Issa and Teal. We have DID. We wanted to go through what we're gonna just call Eve's journal. It's I don't completely understand. I'm new in the system. New in the system. I don't completely understand the timeline of when she figured out she was autistic versus like when she figured out about the system. I think some of the stuff written in here will be from just her perspective, and I feel like they might have added to it later, but I'm not sure. We're gonna go through it together. I did read a little bit on TikTok, so some of it, like the very beginning, will not be new to me, but the rest will. There's about this much of it, so it's gonna be a nice long video. So it starts off, I'm just gonna show it to you real quick so you can kind of see how she laid it out. Eve is dormant. She is self-diagnosed. We've already went over that. If you got beef, keep going. She took the RAADS-R, got a score of 165, says social relatedness 64, language 18, sensory motor 44, circumscribed interests 39. There is a CAT-Q. I'm assuming this is another quiz. It says 131, compensation 41, masking 41, assimilation 49. I don't know what any of these numbers are. I think these are tests that you can take online that may or may not help you figure out if you might be on the spectrum for autism. Teal says that Eve asked our partner and our mom to take the RAADS, and both of them scored like 60 or 65. Because at first she was like, there's no way my number is just that high. Stims, it says chewing cheeks, fingers, nails, rubbing fingers together, chest tapping, pressing, thinking hands, rocking back and forth, dancing, rubbing, or fiddling with anything, thumb sucking, question mark, lips / tongue piercing, and chewing lips. It says food, forgetting to eat, drink, unable to force food, specific utensils, dishes, order. I don't know what that means. Texture issues, over taste, same comfort foods, always reminding myself to eat and drink. We do have a lot of issues with texture and food. Overstimulation. It says causes, attacks, overwhelming anxiety from noise, lights, earplugs help a lot, socks seam, rough texture or uncomfy clothes, dissociation, cardboard, needing substances, and super emotions. I know cardboard is the big one for us. We don't like the sound of it. We don't like the feel of it. It makes our brain angry, and it makes us in pain. Which sounds silly, but it's still true. Just because it's not your experience doesn't mean it's not ours. So, autism in women. So from my understanding, she found a long list of autistic traits in women and wrote down all of them, and then wrote down how she relates to them. So we've got section A. It says deep thinkers. So they're all numbered. It says a deep thinker. As you can see, exhibit A, from a very young age, a philosopher. She's funny. I like her. I did read this first page, and I think I read the second one, and then after that it will be new stuff to me and to you. Number 2, prolific writer drawn to poetry. In high school, plenty of songs and poems to describe my pain and solitude. Number 3, highly intelligent. We were at a high level reading, talked eloquently at a very young age, 4.0 in school and AP. Number 4, sees things at multiple levels, including her own thinking, my feelings, others, their families, processes why it is so hard to set boundaries and love myself. Boundaries is my job. That's why I'm here. Analyzes existence for number 5, the meaning of life and everything continually. She says, obviously, vividly on a bus, realizing everyone has their own, like, I don't know what that, I still don't know what that word says. I didn't know it last time either. I don't know it, is their own main character. That's what that's supposed to be. She just wrote Main Chara. And I was like, man, her handwriting. Number 6, it says serious and matter-of-fact in nature. Very literal, like to make to fit in, direct and called rude, brutal honesty. Number 7, doesn't take things for granted. So I love all things. We have a safe place, each other, our system, a great partner. It says number 8, doesn't simplify. I'm trying to get better at it. We tend to over-explain and, I guess, confuse people. Number 9, everything is complex. She says, how can it be simple? Valid. Often gets lost in own thoughts and checks out on number 10. She says, then replies, sorry, distracted, zoning or dissociation, sometimes just focused deeply. We've got section B, innocent. And this is like, I'm not joking you, these are all written down. Naive, because why do people lie if you're our friend? It looks like she had wrote my friend and someone wrote our over it. Like, can you see? Honest, always hurts and hard to lie. 3, experiences trouble with lying, almost physical pain. Also, it's just hard for us to pull off. Finds it difficult to understand manipulation and disloyalty. I don't understand why, but I know see it happen. Finds it difficult to understand vindictive behavior and retaliation. She says, like, Mom, question mark? It's an unnecessary waste of energy. It really is. It really is. Like, that's so weird. Easily fooled and conned. She writes, haunted shed, internet, scams, Goodyear. I do, yeah, we want to add context to the haunted shed. Teal was around in our childhood, so she knows about this in particular. For example, we had, again, friends, and they had told us that the shed was haunted, and we believed them because, why would you lie? We're your friends. It doesn't make sense to us. We don't get it. So... And then we only ever found out that they were lying and it wasn't really haunted because we caught them talking behind our backs and laughing at us about how stupid we were because we believed them. Yep. Good times. Feelings of confusion and being overwhelmed because it's frustrating, not understanding people. The world is loud and bright and scary. It says feelings of being misplaced and or from another planet. Car rides waiting to be stolen away where I'll fit. Feelings of isolation. She has always felt alone, different. She believes that that's a strong factor leading to our DID. She says abused or taken advantage of as a child but didn't think to tell anyone. Talking about this hurts. I don't know who's getting triggered, but our anxiety is peaking right now. I was asked for the 100th time to be nice to him. I finally removed the mask enough to say no and exactly why it was a no. And then under this, it just says more that others hold, which is not good, but it makes a lot of sense. Swear system. Yep, deep breaths. Oh man, I don't know why this is triggering us, but okay, so section C, escape, and yeah, it's because it hurts. It hurts to go through your life and just like, yep, and some of the altars might hold certain things. Anyways, section C, escape and friendship. Survives overwhelming emotions and senses by escaping in thought or action. She says usually thought, lately, and strong stins, video game and movie, books, music. Yes. We've always been very big on daydreaming. We've always lost ourselves in our mind because our mind was always safe. Escapes regularly through fixations, obsessions, and over-interest in subjects, music, audiobooks, games. Yes, the birds, we love them so much, but they have had us outside all day, every day, almost every single day, and it is kind of killing us a little bit because we're not getting to play our games to the level that we're used to, and I know it sounds silly, but it's like legitimately fucking us up a little bit. Like, we need it. Like, and growing up, We had a PlayStation 3, and that was absolutely where we lost ourselves. We loved our games. We would always lose ourselves in the world. And I feel like, ironically, books were one of our favorite things because it felt like every time we were going through a certain particular struggle or issue, there was always a series that was perfectly timed in our life for it. Like Gregor the Overlander, in that book, the very first one, it's a series, he is like 10 or 11, his father just disappeared, he, boom, is now the man of the house. We relate to that because around 10, our mom divorced our first stepdad, and boom, we had a lot of, like, new stuff that we were in control of. You know what I mean? Like, we related to things. We actually have a few fictives from that, but not Gregor. Get back to this. Sorry. Escapes routinely through imagination, fantasy, and daydreaming. Vampire romances or dream houses, being a shapeshifter or any creature. Yes, all day, every day, this is what we did. We escaped. We escaped because it was safe. Escapes through mental processing. She says best way to escape, it's always accessible no matter where we are or who we are with. Oh, there we go. It's another sentence. Who we are with, or if we are, what is that word? Alone? Or if we are alone sometimes. Okay. I think it's alone. Escapes through the rhythm of words. She says we enjoy rambling, ? Conversing, ? I don't know what the rhythm of words means. We've always been very articulate. We were very articulate at a very young age. I think they call it hyperlexic. We got a lot of comments on how verbal we were at a very young age because we thought, we were autistic, and we thought that if we just learned English well enough and we learned how to speak it well enough that people would understand us, and that never happened. And we thought if we could just speak English well enough, we would make friends and keep friends, and it just, yeah, anyways. It doesn't change the fact we're autistic, so we struggled, so none of that worked, but we sure did try. Philosophizes continually. She says, remember a lot in high school constantly about our brain and how our childhood relates to how and who we are now. Says, had imaginary friends in youth. She says, I just made my plushes my friends with whole personalities. I could tell that these were wrote at 2 different times because this is a different pencil. Like, so you can, I don't know if you could see, but like, it's right around here, and like up here, this line is really thin. It's thin, and then it's thicker at a different time. So she wrote in here, pre-system awareness and post-system awareness. Says they became alters, and that became a sort of superpower. We were children. We didn't know what was going on in our head. Obviously, as kids, you don't want to think you're crazy. We thought we had a superpower. That's how we survived. It made us feel safe. Okay, we were kids. We were kids. That's the biggest thing I need people to remember about adults going out that have DID. We were children that were severely abused repeatedly. That's why we have DID. That is how we survived, and we should not have to hide our truth because it makes people uncomfortable. We survived, and we deserve to be able to be ourselves after surviving all the shit we went through. Imitates people on television or in movies. She says yes, and revise their jokes, vibe, maybe favorite characters. Bit more, so games, books, as we like those more. Rebel something like Katniss. Section C, continued, treated friends as pawns in youth. She just has a question mark next to this. I don't agree with that, and the thing about autism is it's a spectrum, so obviously we don't have to be 100% on every single thing in there. We are hyper empathetic. We've always been hyper empathetic, and while we might not have been nice to all of our friends because we're a system and there are many of us, and some of them might not have been nice back then, or even now, really, let's be honest, but no, I don't feel like we treated our friends as pawns, because we were always seeking safety and comfort in people outside of our family. And so our friends were the first ones to go into that kind of feel. I'm kind of like, is it weird that the light is like the shadow is right on my eye? I don't know. But no, I don't feel like we did that. Says makes friends with older or younger females more so than friends her age. Older, always friends moms. Now, I do remember this. Me and Issa can co-friend. I do remember this. We would go to friends' birthday parties, for example, and we would be with their dog, their pet, their animal, connecting with the creatures, or we would be spending time with the mother. Yeah, absolutely. Because we were so mature for our age, right? You get that crap a lot. We always felt more comfortable with older people. Young people just... Well, because adults were always better with us because they didn't mind us because we were quiet and we didn't cause problems most of the time. So, like, they just kind of let us be, and we just kind of were. I have sunburn, by the way. I feel like a little run in this video. We forgot to put sunscreen on yesterday. It was a long day. Imitates friends or peers in style, dress, attitude, interests, and manner, sometimes speech. She says yes to try and fit their persona they'd want or like. We've been working the last year to unmask. No one has touched this journal for years, by the way. It's been at least a year or two since this journal has been touched. At least a year. I know it's been at least a year. I won't say longer than that. Never mind. Let's revamp that. It's been at least a year, but I can't say past more than that. Obsessively collects and organizes objects. Funko Pops. The house is full of random cute things. Yes, and that's one of the biggest struggles is, like, when we have a special interest or something that we like, we collect things from it. We can have several different memorabilia for the same exact thing, and it's like, we already have some, we don't need more. But we do, but we don't. So, yeah. We literally have a Funko Pop wall, like, ignore the boxes, a wall. And that's not even all of our Funko Pops, because there's more up here, and there's more in this other room, and there's more by the front door. So, yeah. Mastered imitation. She says each person gets a special performance. And then she says we're pretty funny. Again, this is like, she wrote the first part, someone else wrote the second part. Which is funny. Escapes by playing the same music over and over, 24/7, more than 99% of Americans on Spotify. Oh, that's something that we got on Spotify? Okay, so they do the rap thing every year, and so we listen to music more than 99% of Americans. We go through... Anyways, I'm gonna go check on the birds in a second. So then you're just gonna be sitting here awkwardly, unless I make a new video. I might make another video and just pick up where we left off. Right, music. We go through cycles of new songs to set on repeat. Yeah, we do, and it'll depend on who's fronting. So that's a big part of it too, is it would depend on who's fronting. Escapes through a relationship, imagined or real. She just says both, ... Yeah. Numbers bring ease. Could be numbers associated with patterns, calculations, list time, and or personification. She just writes, always see 911 or 9/11. That's the way we read it. 9/11. We were around for that. We're kind of old bodily. We were young though. We were kids. We just remember we didn't have to go to school. Enjoy just how some look organized. 11/11 or something. Simple math sometimes because it doesn't change in 8 symmetry. I know we like even numbers. I know that's a big thing in the system because they don't like odd numbers. I don't know why. We are very big on even numbers. They have to be even. It's weird. There you go. Maybe I'll stop when I get to section D and we'll continue from there. Escapes through counting, categorizing, organizing, rearranging. She says, love to do this, organizing or thinking of a pattern. Escapes into other rooms at parties. She writes Halloween with dogs, kids, or just alone in the background. Cannot relax or rest without many thoughts. She says why I medicate or distract. Medicate, I'm pretty sure, is like cannabis. Which does help our DID in general and our sleep, yes. Everything has a purpose. She just wrote duh. Which, I mean, yeah, everything, like, what do you mean? Everything has a purpose. Yes, why would it not? What do you mean? There's a star and it just says childhood. So I'm gonna read it. Talked well at early age, would sit and organize toys rather than running around, into everything, sucked my thumb till 6. We sucked our thumb till we were 8. Anyways, with pillow, plastic bag, and bunny, only stopped when at a sleepover. No one else was, so I stopped to mask. Vivid sensory memories, laying on the stairs and feeling that we fit perfectly. The merry-go-round, upside down, on anything, soft things, always. Coconut bra, which is like, we lived in Hawaii growing up for a few years, for about 3-4 years. And our mother had us take a photo op there with our sister, and it's real pretty. It's like CGI or something, but we're on a turtle under the water, which is cool. But they tried to stick us, and again, we were like, we are 4 years old. We were like 4 years old. We were 4 years old, and these people are trying to stick us into a coconut bra, which we were not about because it was uncomfortable. That was really the biggest reason. But also looking back, now I'm just like, we were a child. Why are you trying to stick a child in a coconut bra? Because it's the theme. No, that's weird. We had nothing there. There was no reason to put a bra on us. It's weird. So, I'm gonna check the birds and we're just gonna do another video. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Self-diagnosis is valid. Yeah, that's it. I don't know what else I'm supposed to be telling you, so